When I found out about my unfaithful wife's affair with a coworker, I decided to tell his wife, who was unsuspecting, and what started as an expose ended up in her bed. It was revenge on both of them at the same time. Be me, Luke Wilson. Living with wife Claire in suburban Charlotte. Nice house in a quiet neighborhood. Working as a senior software architect at a tech company. Making good money, living what seems like the perfect life. We usually use the side door through garage, or sliding glass doors to the patio. Front door might as well be decoration at this point. Have this formal living room to the right of foyer. Pristine space that nobody uses. Just there for show, really. Left side has hallway leading to bedrooms. Master suite and guest bathroom down there too. Living room always dark. Heavy drapes covering windows. Got this fancy mahogany coffee table in the center. 2 leather wingback chairs flanking it. Large beige tufted sofa against the wall. Sitting in one of those wingback chairs early morning. Facing away from the foyer entrance. Not just another normal day for me. This spot has become my thinking place. Come here when Claire's out. My quiet spot to brood about life. Think about ending this miserable marriage. But every time I consider leaving, reality hits hard. House would be gone. Bank account destroyed by divorce and alimony. Legal fees would eat everything else. Friends would split into teams. Worst part is dealing with Claire. She's turned being cruel into an art form. Hear the side door creak open. Claire's back from grocery shopping. Should get up. Should sneak away to bedroom. Last thing I need is her finding me here. Every interaction with her is like walking through landmines. If she catches me sitting here, she'll find something to explode about. Could be anything or nothing. Doesn't matter if it makes sense. Her goal is keeping me off balance. She's scary good at it too. Once Claire starts an argument, it goes on for days, sometimes even weeks. Doesn't matter how crazy her complaints are. Always end up bending over backward to please her, just to make her stop. But as soon as one fight dies down, another one starts up. Been like this for over a decade of marriage. Endless cycle of tension. Feel trapped with no way out, except divorce or something darker. Still try to make it work though. Not because I think we can fix things. More about keeping my own sanity at this point. Given up on making Claire happy long ago. Hear the freezer door slam shut, echoing through the house. Brace myself for what's coming next. Know the routine all too well. She just finished putting away frozen groceries. Does it like clockwork every time. In a few minutes, she'll summon me. Make me carry in the rest of the stuff. Like some kind of servant. Always finds ways to micromanage everything. Put the cereal in the other cabinet this time. She'll bark out orders. Voice always sharp and dismissive. Never asks without adding some criticism. Make sure I know who's in charge. Stay frozen in my chair. Don't want to deal with her commands any sooner than needed. Keep my distance as long as possible. Trying to avoid the inevitable. Worst case, she'll whistle for me. Like calling a dog. Or shout my name loud enough to make me wince. That whistle gets under my skin every time. Not just the sound. It's how degrading it feels. Shows how far things have fallen. But instead of her sharp voice or whistle, here's something else. Light footsteps coming from the foyer. Heart pounds, but don't move. Don't make a sound. If I looked, might have seen her pause on the tiles, checking the hallway to make sure she's alone. In her mind, probably thinking, should have called him while in the car. But driving and talking was too much trouble for her. Doesn't matter now that she's home. Probably thinks I'm out back. Working on the pergola project like a good husband. Stay hidden as Claire pulls out her phone. Hear familiar chirp as she dials. Within moments, her voice turns sickeningly sweet. Hi, Daddy, she purrs, standing just 5 feet from my chair. Can you talk now? We good for Thursday afternoon? Blood runs cold in my veins. Word Daddy drips from her mouth like poison. Mind racing as she continues. I'll call him at work after 1. Her voice soft and calculated. He should be back from lunch by then. If he's at his desk, we'll be good for a few hours. I'll open the back gate like always. See you around 2? Her tone casual and confident, like discussing a shopping list. She pauses, listening to voice on other end. Oh, Daddy, she giggles. You can put that thing anywhere you like. You know I love your big old tool. Feel my stomach churning. Every word confirms the betrayal. The one I've suspected for so long. I've got to go, she says finally. Got to figure out where my boy is now. See you Thursday. Snap of her flip phone closing sounds like gunshot in my mind. Her footsteps fade towards sliding glass door, leaving me stewing in fury and disbelief. Years in Army taught me to stay calm under pressure. First rule, don't panic unless actively discovered or under attack. Steady my breathing. Force face into neutral mask, body tense, ready for action. Mind stays sharp. Choose your moment, I think. Engage on your own terms. Finally rise from chair. Make my way to kitchen. Pass Claire without meeting her gaze. Careful not to give anything away. I'm here, I say, voice surprisingly steady. Was in the bathroom. Gotta run to hardware store for some pergola parts. Amazing I can speak without choking on my own anger. Even more amazing, I resist urge to wrap hands around her throat. As I move past her, she glances at me. Face shows no suspicion. "You need to wear a hat out there," she says casually. "Looks like you're getting sunburned." Her obliviousness makes my blood boil more. "I don't want to deal with your skin peeling off in a couple days," Claire adds, voice dripping with annoyance. "By the way, there are groceries to bring in. Do that before you go anywhere. And don't be gone all day." With that, she drops phone into purse, sitting on kitchen counter, heads out back door to inspect my work on pergola. Know what's coming when she inspects pergola. If she finds anything to criticize, she'll save it for later. That's Claire in a nutshell. Every conversation is string of orders, always laced with outright insults or subtle jabs. My frustration boils over moment she leaves room. Seize the chance. Grab her phone from purse. Quickly check call log. Number she just dialed still there. Commit it to memory with military precision. Return phone to exact same spot. Then dutifully bring in groceries. Put everything away perfectly. Climb into my old pickup truck. But instead of heading to hardware store like I said, drive to quiet neighborhood park couple blocks away. Sit in truck. Replay brief conversation I overheard. Word for word. Over and over again. First 15 minutes focus on remembering every syllable. Burning it into mind like soldiers studying mission plan. Even jot down notes. Make sure nothing gets forgotten. No doubt what it all means. Pieces fit together too perfectly. Claire's having an affair, not just cheating. Doing it in our own home. Most likely in our bed, while I'm out working to support her. Realization hits like gut punch. Betrayal isn't just personal. It's financial too. Pouring my hard-earned money into maintaining her lifestyle, all while she's carrying on with another man. Thought makes my hands grip steering wheel tighter. Question haunting me now. Who is this man she calls daddy? Area code on phone number is local. Can't be her father. He lives across country in Oregon. Stomach churns remembering peculiar detail. From early in our marriage, back then Claire would sometimes call me daddy during sex. Found it odd and unsettling at times. Assumed it was a quirky way of expressing desire for children. But when we mutually decided not to have kids, couple years into marriage, she seemed relieved. Nickname disappeared. Now term daddy has resurfaced. But it's not for me. It's for someone else. Someone local. Mind shifts from emotional blow to practical steps. Need to take action. Thursday. She mentioned Thursday. That's when she plans to let lover in through back gate. Man will likely park nearby. Walk into alley. Consider possibilities. Ambushing him there seems like option. But then what? What would I do about Claire? My unfaithful wife? Reason man's car probably parked close by. Perhaps even here at park. Might give me opportunity to identify him. But how to confirm who this guy is? Most direct option is to call number I memorized. Could have someone else make the call. Pretend it's wrong number? Try to get information out of him. Woman might have better luck extracting details. Rack my brain trying to figure out who I can trust. Who would help me uncover truth? Who else might already know what's going on? Answer seems obvious. If anyone knows about Claire's affair, would be Amanda, her closest friend. Doubt anyone else would tell me truth. Maybe Claire's sister might know something. But that feels unlikely. Ever since her bitter divorce left her ostracized. Claire's relationship with sister been cold and distant. Could I ask Amanda? Known her as long as I've known Claire. She's always been friendly toward me. We've gotten along well over years. But when it comes down to it, no women can be fiercely loyal to each other, even more than to their own spouses. Amanda's husband Timothy might be a better option. Timothy is 15 years older than Amanda. They seem like most loving couple I've ever seen. Clear Amanda tells Timothy everything. Question is, would Timothy spill beans about Claire? Consider him a friend. Maybe not close one, but good-natured guy I could count on to be honest. If Timothy had any idea what was going on, believe he'd tell me. With that in mind, decide to pay Timothy a visit. Timothy semi-retired now. Spends Saturdays volunteering as goodwill ambassador at local golf course. In exchange for his time, earns free rounds during less busy weekdays. Know I'll find him there. Use Drive to carefully map out my approach. Can't just blurt it out. Risk word getting back to Claire and Amanda. Have to be strategic. As we ride together in golf cart, checking course conditions at 7th hole. Decide to test waters. Timothy, got hypothetical question for you. Keep tone casual. If you had private conversation with someone, would you feel obligated keep it between two of you? Or would you share it with Amanda? Timothy shoots me curious look. Keeps driving for few moments before responding. Are you asking me to keep something from Amanda? Shrug, pretending to brush off question. Just wondering in general, if you heard something confidential, would you and Amanda talk about it, even if it was something told to you in confidence? Hypothetically speaking, of course. Timothy pulls cart onto grass, parks and turns to face me directly. His expression both curious and serious. Like he knows I'm not just asking idle questions. Are you trying to tell me something? He asked pointedly. If you've got specific question, go ahead and ask. I'll answer as best I can. Hesitate, feeling weight of moment. If I ask, can you keep this between us? Timothy's face doesn't flinch. Here's the deal, Luke. I'll never bring up what you tell me unless you ask me to. But I won't lie to Amanda if she directly asks about it. That's how I operate. Can keep a secret but won't deceive my wife or friend. Study Timothy's expression. Try to gauge if I can trust him. Something about his demeanor makes me believe he knows more than letting on. Gathering courage, finally ask, Timothy, do you know if Claire is having or has had an affair? I mean, have you ever heard anything about her stepping out on me? Timothy exhales slowly, looks out at golf course, like weighing words carefully. It was New Year's Eve, he begins, voice low and deliberate. At the Walters party, my heart sinks as Timothy continues, his words spilling out like water through broken dam. Everyone was outside getting ready for fireworks display. Champagne was flowing and Amanda rarely drinks. When she does, it's not much. So didn't take much alcohol to make her feel unwell. At Walter's New Year's Eve party, she excused herself to go upstairs, use bathroom after feeling nauseated. While in bathroom, thought she heard someone. Jiggling doorknob, but dismissed it, assuming just another guest. After freshening up and stepping out, she noticed faint sounds coming from far end of hallway. Concerned someone else might be sick or need help, she decided to check it out. As she rounded corner, where hallway turned toward cluster of bedrooms, she froze. At end of corridor, there was Claire, leaning against wall with man, large man. There was no mistaking what was happening. He had her pressed against wall, her legs wrapped around his waist. When Claire noticed Amanda standing there, she didn't look embarrassed or ashamed. Instead gave sly grin and dismissive wave, as if to say, mind your own business. Amanda was horrified. On way home that night, she told Timothy about what she had seen. Amanda and Claire had been close friends for years, so her instinct was to confront Claire first, before jumping to conclusions, or taking drastic steps. Amanda wanted to give her friend a chance to explain. Claire didn't deny what happened, claimed it was one-time mistake, result of too much champagne. A heated argument with me, and aggressive advances of the man. Peter Reeves. Peter was notorious for being a bully. His reputation was no secret. His wife, a lawyer, rumored to be main reason he had any stability, had clearly married her for financial security. Amanda, reluctant to ruin our marriage, over what she believed one-time incident, decided to keep it quiet. But Timothy had told her then, he wouldn't lie to me if I ever asked directly. It's been eating me alive these past 5 months, Timothy confesses, voice heavy with guilt. I should have told you sooner, Luke. I'm so sorry, man. If I'd known it wasn't over, I would have come to you right away. I overheard her on phone just an hour ago, talking to someone. God help me. I didn't know. My chest tightens. My suspicion wasn't just confirmed. It was worse than I thought. Timothy placed his hand on my shoulder. Let's go talk to Amanda. Maybe she knows more. Maybe there's something she can tell us. We drive separately to Timothy and Amanda's house. When we arrive, Timothy breaks news to his wife. Amanda sits down, visibly shaken, tears well in her eyes. As she processes what she's hearing, I really thought she had ended it, Luke. Amanda says, voice trembling. I would have told you if I knew it was still going on. I hope things would work out for you two. Can see hurt on her face. She isn't just upset for me. She feels betrayed by Claire too. Amanda had believed her friend's lies, had based her decision to stay quiet on assumption affair was over. Keep tone firm, but not unkind. Got the number Claire called earlier from her phone. Need to know who it belongs to. Would you call it and pretend you've dialed wrong number? Just need a name to confirm what I already know. Amanda hesitates but nods. Of course, she says. I'll do whatever I can to help. Amanda works from home as editor, has background in theater, her doctorate in literature, natural talent for performance, makes her perfect choice for this task. She carefully crafts her approach, planning to use flawless British accent, an ability that never fails to impress, to make her call sound convincing. With phone set to speaker, Amanda dials number. Tension in room is palpable. As we wait for call to connect, Amanda's call is brief. Response leaves no room for doubt. I'm sorry. This is Peter Reeves. Voice on other end confirms. Amanda immediately apologizes, feigning mistaken call. My apologies for the mix-up, she adds, keeping voice composed as she hangs up. Amanda shakes her head. Well, that wasn't exactly satisfying, she admits. But result was clear as day. Claire hadn't ended her affair with Peter Reeves. Group sits in silence for a moment, absorbing implications. My jaw tightens. Not just furious. I'm determined. I'm going to catch them, I say firmly. And it's going to be at their next meetup Thursday. Amanda nods but asks. Room falls silent again. Everyone mulls over options. Finally, Amanda breaks tension. What if we turn tables, she suggests, her eyes narrowing. What if her closest friend, someone she trusts, tricks her into spilling truth? I could tell her story. Make her think I need advice. Get her to talk. Timothy chuckles. Never underestimate angry woman, he says. Amanda nods, her resolve hardening. I'm fed up with the way she's treated you, Luke. And frankly, I'm done with her lies too. Let me see what I can do. I'll make her think I need help. Something personal she'll relate to. Trust me, I'll get her to open up. We hash out plan. Amanda will call Claire, claim to be in desperate need of her advice. Arrange to meet for coffee Sunday morning. Timothy will modify one of Amanda's old purses. Hide small video camera inside. Amanda will place purse on table. Capture every word and expression. By noon Sunday, hope to have all evidence I need. Amanda rehearses her call. Dials Claire with practiced ease. Hey Claire, I really need to talk to you. As soon as possible. Could we meet for coffee tomorrow morning? Claire's voice sounds casual, but touch of curiosity seeps through. Sure, Amanda, what's going on? Are you okay? How's Timothy? Oh, it's nothing like that, Amanda replies, her tone measured. Do you remember situation I had at New Year's Eve last year? It's kind of like that. Pause hangs between them. Before Claire responds, I think I know what you mean. Maybe I can help. What about 10 o'clock? At that new coffee shop and shopping center? That sounds perfect, Amanda says, hiding her satisfaction. Privately, Claire was smiling to herself. Finally, she thought, Amanda stepping out of her boring life. With that old husband of hers, she could do so much better. Still cute too. Maybe I can teach her a few things. Share some stories. Like I used with my sister, Daddy taught me a lot about enjoying life. Time I pass that on. Next morning, Amanda arrives at coffee shop early, chooses table under awning outside, carefully setting up modified purse on table, adjusts hidden camera, angling it perfectly towards seat reserved for Claire, even moves extra chairs. Ensure Claire has no choice but sit directly in front of lens. Satisfied with setup, Amanda tests audio. Calm air means no wind noise to interfere. Takes deep breath. Feeling mix of nerves and determination. This is her chance to help me. Finally confront her so-called friend's betrayal. Amanda meticulously prepares setup, ensuring everything in place. Hidden camera secured with Velcro straps. Snugly positioned inside purse. Lens and microphone camouflaged. Part of purse's pattern design. Timothy did excellent job disguising it. No one would suspect thing. 16 GB memory card, more than enough. Can capture hours of footage. Amanda only needs press single button to start recording. When Claire arrives, Amanda greets her warmly, masking true intentions. Hey, would you mind grabbing us some coffee? I'll stay here to hold our spot. It's nice and secluded. Claire obliges, heading into shop to get drinks. Moment she walks away, Amanda quickly reaches into purse, presses button to start recording, double checks it's working before sitting back. Calm and ready, by time Claire returns with coffees. Amanda is in character. 2 exchange pleasantries before Amanda launches into fabricated dilemma. I don't know what to do, Claire, Amanda begins, voice low and confiding. There's this guy. He wants me, and I'll admit I'm tempted. I've never cheated on Timothy, ever, but it's been so long since we've been intimate. He's adorable, this guy, and he makes me feel alive again. I don't know. Would I regret it if I went through with it? How did you feel after, New Year? Claire's eyes light up with recognition. Her lips curl into smirk. Go for it, honey. Honestly, I don't know why you haven't done it already. Look, Timothy is a great guy, sure, but let's be real. He's way past his prime. You, on the other hand, are still young, cute, and frankly way too good to be wasting your time. Amanda feigns shock, though inwardly she's elated. Wow, she replies. So no regrets? Not even little, Claire shrugs. What's there to regret? Besides, she adds with sly grin, if I hadn't told you back then that it was one-time thing, who knows what you might have done. With that information, but now since we're in similar situations, let's just put it all out there. Amanda leans in, maintaining active curiosity. So it wasn't just that party. Tell me everything. I mean, I'm seriously considering it myself, and I need details. How did it all start with you and Peter? Are you two still, going at it? Claire laughs, leaning back in her chair. Oh, you're going to love this, she says. You want every detail? Fine, let me tell you a story. It's a good one. Amanda nods, heart pounding but face calm. Camera captures every word. It started at Walter's Halloween party, Claire begins, her eyes gleaming with excitement. You remember that night, right? I was wearing that leopard print costume. Peter couldn't stop staring at me. I caught his eye more than few times. His wife was busy helping kids, with trick-or-treating at door, and Luke. Well, he was out back by fire. Oblivious as always, Claire chuckles, her voice lowering. Anyway, Peter eventually worked up nerve. To approach me, he whispered we should meet on landing upstairs in 5 minutes. I didn't even hesitate, just gave him a little nod. You know how packed that house was, right? It wasn't hard to slip away unnoticed. Everyone was downstairs, and landing was completely deserted. When I got up there, Peter didn't waste any time. He kissed me hard, then pulled me into bathroom. He locked door behind us and Claire trails off, face flushed with excitement, leans in to whisper more details. Amanda keeps expression neutral, though her mind is racing. Camera captures every word, every smirk, every incriminating detail Claire shares. I managed to pull off my leotard, Claire says, self-satisfied grin on face. And Peter just had his way with me right there. While I was sitting on his lap on toilet, Amanda, I'm telling you, he's enormous. He takes what he wants. And I like that. There's no emotional nonsense, no strings attached. It's purely physical. And that's how I prefer it. Claire leans back in chair, face flushed with excitement. Since that first time, I couldn't get enough. Between Halloween and New Year's, I'd say we hooked up at least 20 times. That night at Walter's party, we were trying to relive that Halloween rush, but you being upstairs in bathroom threw us off. We had to sneak down hallway instead. I would have locked us in one of bedrooms. But of course Walters keep their doors locked. Amanda's face remains neutral, though inside she feels sick. So it didn't stop after that, she asks, voice tinged with disbelief. Claire smirks. Of course not, honey. Peter's too good to give up. Truth is, I'll be screwing him in my own bed next week. Can you believe that? She laughs like it's all joke. That's insane, Amanda replies. Voice calm but sharp. But what about Luke? Don't you feel even little sorry for him? Claire shrugs, waving thought away. Luke? Oh, come on, Amanda. A husband and lover serve completely different purposes. You can't treat them same way. Luke's great for fixing things around house or running errands. But when I need really good sex, that's where Peter comes in. In fact, after good session with Peter, it's nice to have Luke for little wind down time. You know, something easy and comforting. Amanda can't believe what she's hearing. But Claire just keeps going, her tone almost bragging. Honestly, Luke was perfect choice for husband. I knew he'd be great provider, and he's never pressured me about having kids. I can control him like TV remote. He listens to everything I say and trusts me completely. All I have to do is act a little jealous now and then, or start fight to keep him on edge. When he comes home, I'll sniff him, pretending to check for perfume. I do it instinctively now, just to throw him off, make him think I'd never cheat. If there's a movie on where husband cheats, I'll go on and on about how awful it is and how I'd never tolerate it. It's a nice little act to keep him blind to truth. Luke is so submissive, Claire says with laugh. Having him around is like having little gay best friend. It doesn't matter how I treat him. He always comes back for more. I let him have sex every now and then to keep him happy, but I have total freedom to do whatever I want. He has to check in with me constantly, so I always know where he is. That way I never have to worry about him walking in on me with someone else. It's perfect. Claire leans closer to Amanda, her eyes sparkling. And you know what, Amanda? Luke's not even only one I've kept in dark. There have been others, plenty of others. Honestly, I've lost count. There was this guy during our first year of marriage. I met him at grocery store, if you can believe it. He couldn't stop staring at me, so I let him take me right then and there. I didn't even tell him my real name. That little fling lasted 6 months. Amanda's face remains calm, but her mind races. Hidden camera captures every word, every smirk, every chilling detail. I used to meet him at hotels, Claire says nonchalantly, stirring her coffee. Few different ones, actually. It worked for a while, but then he started getting too clingy. Those younger guys always do. Too emotional, too possessive. After him, I kept it casual, just working on series of one-off flings. Claire smiles, reminiscing. There was this one guy, friend from my younger days. He worked in sales, had pension for, let's just call them, naughty distractions. He only came to town a few times a year, which made it perfect. No strings, no hassle. That one lasted longer than most, though. I'll admit, she leans in conspiratorially, but Peter's been steadiest. Like I said before, he's total hound, a brute with tool that'll split you in half. Claire laughs at her own crudeness. And best part, his wife has no clue. She's off at work oblivious. While he's sneaking off to see me, whenever I say word, I've got him wrapped around my finger. Total control. Amanda keeps expression neutral, feigning intrigue. That's wild. But come on, Claire. What about your latest conquest? Where'd you meet this one? Claire waves hand dismissively. Enough about me. I want to hear about your situation. Amanda, give me all juicy details. Amanda nods, launching into rehearsed story about her fictional paramour, Ryan. While details were fabricated, Amanda's performance is flawless. Her words, her tone, it all feels real. Claire soaks up every bit, even encouraging her to take full advantage of opportunity. Sweetheart, Claire says, shaking head with grin, you're overthinking this. Let me tell you something about relationships. In Animal Kingdom, there are leaders and followers, dominants and subordinates. You need to understand this. Some of us are queens, and others are just worker bees there to serve. Amanda raises eyebrow, prompting Claire to elaborate. In my relationship with Luke, Claire continues smugly, I'm alpha. Always have been, always will be. And honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way. Alpha gets to call shots, including choosing her mates. That's my right, and I take full advantage of it. She smirks, taking a sip of coffee. Now Luke, he could have stepped up if he'd wanted to, but he didn't. Every now and then he tries to push back, but it's useless. I always win. Always. He hates conflict, but I thrive on it. I have more stamina, more willpower, and I make sure I come out on top every single time. Amanda leans forward, playing along. So you think I should try to take control? Absolutely, Claire replies. You're more than capable of running show. Timothy is sweet, but he'll never take your place at top. You just have to step into role. Screw Ryan. Enjoy every second. Don't feel guilty about it. Timothy will still be there. More he'll settle into role he's meant to play. Hell, you could probably manipulate Ryan right in front of Timothy, and he'd accept it without question. That's just how this world works. Claire leans back, her tone growing even more brazen. You've always been in control, Amanda. You just haven't realized it yet. Amanda tilts head, her voice steady. What about STDs, though? Aren't you worried about that? Claire waves question away with chuckle. Let me tell you how I handle that. Once Luke asked if he could go to some jam session with his friends, he thought I'd say no, because I never let him leave house without my say-so. But I just gave him this deadpan look and said, if you think that's what you should be doing, go ahead. Didn't tell him yes or no, just left it up to him. Her grin widens. Of course he went. And when he came back, well, I hit him with 2-week argument, all while I was on antibiotics for infection I picked up elsewhere. If he hadn't gone, I would have turned that into argument too. That's beauty of being in control. I always have upper hand, no matter what. I never have to say no to Luke when it comes to sex, Claire explains with smirk, because he won't even try to initiate. If we're fighting, he can't just make up like normal guy would. No, he needs everything to be all lovey-dovey first. Or it's no go for him. That works just fine for me. I control pace, always. Amanda had listened long enough. Conversation had dragged on. Though she maintained her composure, she was eager to get recording back. To Timothy and me, thanking Claire profusely for her advice. Amanda excuses herself, heads home, clutching purse with hidden evidence like prize. Later that evening, conspirators gather. Amanda, Timothy, and me. We sit in stunned silence. As we watch video, Amanda and Timothy are appalled. They barely recognize Claire, who was so careful to present herself as sweet and supportive when others around. I'm shocked too, though not as deeply as other two. This was confirmation of what I long suspected, but had never been able to prove. It's Timothy who eventually breaks silence. One thing we haven't addressed is Melody Reeves, he says, looking at Amanda. Do you have any insight into her? Surely she knows her husband's cheating. Amanda thinks for a moment. If she doesn't know, I feel like I have obligation to tell her, but if she does know, she might be okay with it. Or worse, she could tip him off, which would ruin plan. Only times I've spoken to her were at few of Walter's gatherings. She always puts on brave face, but you can tell she's deeply affected by Peter's behavior. He has that reputation as bully, and it's obvious she's intimidated by him. I nod, face grim. If we involve her, it's risky. She could blow everything. On the other hand, if she's willing to work with us, she might help us take him down, but we'd have to tread carefully. Amanda considers idea. I could try to feel her out, she offers. Keep it general at first. Talk about infidelity in hypothetical sense. See how she reacts. That way we'll know if she's more likely to side with him or us. I lean back, rubbing my temples. I trust you to handle this, Amanda. You did excellent job with video. But sooner we figure out where she stands, better it's going to affect my next steps. And I need all pieces in place. Timothy places reassuring hand on Amanda's shoulder. You're good at this, Amanda. If anyone can handle Melody Reeves, it's you. I turn to others, voice firm. I appreciate your help more than you know. But from this point on, I need you both to step back. Once I hear back from Amanda about Melody, I'll decide what happens next. For your own sake, you don't need to know all details. I'll take full responsibility. For whatever comes next, Amanda narrows her eyes, her tone cautious. You're not planning anything reckless. Are you, Luke? I shake my head. No, I'm not talking about violence. I'll handle this only way I know how. Just trust me. Group reluctantly agrees. Amanda decides to make her move later that day. Picking up her phone, she dials Melody Reeves. Hello, comes voice on other end. Hi, Melody, it's Amanda Carter, she says, keeping tone light. We've chatted at few of Walter's gatherings. Do you remember me? Melody's tone softens. Of course I do, Amanda. I never forget face. What's going on? Amanda takes deep breath. Melody, can you talk freely right now? Is anyone else? Your husband, maybe. Nearby? This needs to be private conversation. There's pause. Then Melody's voice drops to whisper, No one's here. I'm alone. What's this about? Amanda hesitates for a moment before continuing, sitting here with book. While Peter's out doing God knows what, Melody says, her tone laced with exhaustion. What can I do for you, Amanda? Is this about legal issue? Carefully. Melody, I'm going to be honest with you. There's no easy way to bring this up, so I'll just say it. I'm truly sorry to have to tell you this, but Peter is cheating on you. Not with me, but with someone I know. You have every right to know. There was silence on other end of line, thick and heavy, before Amanda heard quiet sniffles, followed by soft crying that crept on. Over a year ago, Melody finally whispers, voice trembling. He swore it was over. He vowed to stop all of it, and I took him back on that promise. I warned him if he ever did this again, I'd leave him for good. Amanda takes deep breath, steadying her voice. I'm so sorry, Melody, but now that you know, I have to ask, what are your plans for dealing with this? I know it's not my place, but if there's anything I can do to help, I'd like to. Melody's tone shifts now, steadier and filled with resolve. He will never sleep in my bed again. I can promise you that. I'll tell you this much. We have prenuptial agreement, and I've threatened to use it before. If I file for divorce, and there's solid evidence of his infidelity, he's done. He won't see dime from me. He can't even keep job. His only skills are schmoozing at events with me and seducing other women behind my back. Without me, he'd be in gutter until he found another gullible woman to take him in. Amanda nods, feeling sense of relief that Melody seems ready to act. Melody, I can give you evidence you need, but I need your word that you'll stay calm for a few days. Don't let on to him that you know anything until you have proof in hand. Can you do that? Melody's voice is ice cold now. I'll be as calm as glacier. He won't suspect thing until I have everything I need to ruin him. Good, Amanda says. I can send someone to your office tomorrow evening with some preliminary evidence. Does that work for you? It does, Melody replies. And thank you, Amanda. Truly. Following morning, Amanda calls me at work, tells me to meet her at her office at 1 p.m. on Monday. When I arrive, I carry video camera in my hand, introduce myself to Melody. We shake hands before sitting down. Mrs. Reeves, I begin. I'm husband of woman. Who's been involved with your husband? I won't sugarcoat it. I'm done playing victim here. It's time to flip script. I want him to feel pain he's caused me. Melody's expression is unreadable. What exactly are you planning, Luke? Does it involve violence? I shrug, face grim. I'm not planning to kill anyone, if that's what you're asking. But I won't lie. Things might get messy. I fully intend to give your unfaithful husband lesson he won't forget. Call it good old-fashioned spanking. Melody raises eyebrow, her lips curling into wry smile. Luke, Peter is 6'2" and built like linebacker. You're not. No offense. But I'm not sure you could take him and fight. I chuckle darkly. Oh, it won't be fair fight. I plan to take him to cleaners. Melody's smile widens, her nod almost approving. In that case, count me in. Just leave little for me to clean up afterward. I'll have my own fun when dust settles. After meeting with Melody, I feel restless, in no mood to return to work. Rage and resolve boiling within me. Won't allow for mundane. Still reeling from things Claire said about me in video. Words stung deeply, not just because they were cruel, but because there was some truth in them. At least in her twisted perception of me. I hated fighting with her. That much was true. But what Claire saw as weakness, I saw as effort of man trying to keep marriage from crumbling completely. Someone had to make effort to smooth things over, and it was always me. Claire certainly hadn't lifted finger to make our lives better, but part that cut deepest was her calling me her little gay friend. That wasn't just insulting. It was demeaning. Gay I was not. On Thursday she'd see just how wrong she was about me. Maybe even before Thursday. I think with bitter grin. What would she do? If faced with husband who refused to take no for answer, would it shake her up? Maybe even make her want me again? Not that I'd ever take her back. At this point, trust was bedrock of any relationship, and Claire had completely destroyed that. But thought of giving her something to think about during long, lonely nights she'd surely face after everything went down gave me small sense of satisfaction. Tuesday and Wednesday at work were blur. My productivity took nosedive. As I spent most of time running through scenarios in my head, there were too many variables, too many moving parts. I reminded myself of that old saying about best laid plans, knowing that no matter how carefully I planned, I'd have to adapt on fly, still mapped out several possibilities, with one clear favorite in mind. A lot of what would happen Thursday afternoon would depend on Claire, whether she stayed in backyard, waiting for her lover, or simply opened gate and went back inside. Either way, I was ready to adapt. I also spent hours in company gym, pushing my body harder than had in years. As I worked on my strength and flexibility, I envisioned what was coming. Anger fueled me, turning each rep and set into preparation for war. Things at home were tense. Silence between us was thicker than usual. Claire barely spoke to me unless necessary, which was out of character. Normally, she'd be picking at me over any little thing, but my strange behavior had thrown her off. She decided to wait, to see if this was just some passing phase. Meanwhile, she found herself looking forward to Thursday even more. Good session with Peter might be just what she needed to regain her focus and get me back under her thumb, where she believed I belonged. On Tuesday night, while Claire was in shower, I rifled through my dresser drawers, searching for something my grandfather had given me. My hand closed around it. Set of steel knuckles. I stared at it, memories flooding back. My grandfather had fought in France after Normandy, had taken knuckles off German soldiers' body as war souvenir. When I joined Army, my grandfather had passed them down to me, warning me to be careful, but telling me they might come in handy someday. That day was nearly here. This was war, and Claire and her lover hadn't played fair. Neither would I. By Thursday morning, forced myself to eat hearty breakfast at work, knowing I'd skip lunch. Hope Peter wouldn't. Maybe extra weight in his stomach would slow him down. Spend most of morning pacing my office, going over details again and again. Stashed few useful items in guest bedroom at home. Whether I'd get to use them depended on where Claire waited for Peter, but it didn't matter. I could adapt. On my desk sat steel knuckles. Pick them up, turn them over in my hands. Their weight solid and reassuring. My controlled anger simmered just beneath surface, ready to erupt when moment came. By 1 p.m., had changed into jeans, t-shirt, and sturdy pair of running shoes. Checked my pockets, cell phone, keys, knuckles. Everything was in place. Before leaving, made one last call to Claire from my desk phone. Knew she'd check number to confirm I was still at work, and it would keep her from calling me. That little detail gave me just enough time to get into position. My tone on phone was calm, composed and entirely non-threatening. Told Claire I'd be in meetings all afternoon, wouldn't have access to my phone. My cell would be turned off too. Mentioned I might be hour or so late getting home. Claire interpreting this as return to my usual docile self. Relaxed at thought. Good old Luke, she thought smugly. It seemed like I was drifting back to normal routine. An idea pleased her. Maybe she'd even throw me bone tonight. Cool down makeup sex to smooth things over. She turned her focus to getting ready for her lover. By 1:25, she was prepped and outdoor. It took Peter about 20 minutes to reach nearby park. His car wasn't there yet. He must have been dropped off nearby. He jogged down street, slipped into her backyard through side gate. I watched it all unfold. Stayed hidden behind large fire bush and yard. My phone was muted, but I checked time. 1:45, right on schedule. Claire appeared, strutting into backyard, wearing revealing string bikini. She unlocked back gate, glanced down alley. Seeing no sign of Peter yet, closed gate again. She strolled to lounge chair, under big pecan tree, stretched out. This was my moment. Side gate was already ajar. I slipped quietly through it, circling around to front door. Used my key to enter house. Heart pounded as I crossed foyer, heading to spot in spare bedroom, where just days ago, my wife's betrayal had been revealed to me. From there, I grabbed cordless drill and some hardware I'd stashed earlier, then made my way into master bedroom. Within minute, had installed hasp on inside of door, leaving lock dangling in place. Wedged small piece of wood between door edge and jamb to keep door from closing fully, just in case I needed quick access. Couldn't help but acknowledge how many things could have gone wrong. Claire could have brought Peter in earlier. She might have gone straight to bedroom to wait for him. Peter could have arrived ahead of schedule, catching me mid-preparation. But none of that had happened. Take deep breath. Controlling my breathing to steady myself for what was coming. Positioned myself in dark hallway. Outside guest bedroom. Holding video camera in right hand. Knew dim light wouldn't make for great visuals, but was confident audio would be clear. Sound broke silence. Sliding glass door opening. Voices followed. Claire's giggle high and flirty, and Peter's deep guttural growl. My jaw clenched, as I imagined big man's hands already on her, groping as they moved into house. Through gap in guest bedroom door, caught my first glimpse. Claire's bikini top was gone. She was pressed against Peter, their mouths locked together. As they stumbled toward master bedroom, they didn't bother closing door, too wrapped up in each other to care. My heart thundered in chest as I crept down hallway. Still recording. Reaching door, I knelt and peeked inside. Peter had Claire in tight bear hug, while she worked on buttons of his shirt. I carefully set video camera on dresser, just inside door, angling it to capture everything. Could see on screen that it had perfect view of bed and two cheaters, who were now falling onto it in frenzy of kisses and groping. This was hardest part. Waiting. I wanted nothing more than to storm in, to unleash fury burning inside me, but I knew better. Needed irrefutable proof, something Claire and Peter couldn't deny. No excuses, no way out. My hands shake with restrained rage. As I watch them, pulse pounding in my ears, all I can do is wait for act itself to begin. I back quietly out of master bedroom, position myself just outside door, adjust my stance, making sure legs are ready for whatever comes next. Resist urge to peek too often. Worried movement might catch their attention. For 5 agonizing minutes I wait, hearing rustling and low murmurs of their activity, both of them completely naked now, taking their time as if they had all hours in world to defile my marriage. Through cracked door, overhear their conversation. Claire's voice, soft and familiar, refers to Peter as daddy more than once, solidifying my suspicion that her dysfunctional relationship with father had bled into her affair. God, I can't wait to drill you, baby, Peter growls, his voice thick with anticipation. Feels like it's been year, not just week. I grit my teeth, peek again, my fury mounting. Peter is on his knees now, positioning himself between Claire's raised legs. I watch as man plunges forward, and Claire lets out scream, unlike anything I'd ever heard from her before. They begin moving together, tangle of limbs and primal sounds. I had seen enough. Touch brass knuckles in pocket. One last time, as though drawing strength from cold steel. Step quietly into room. Claire notices me, just as I shove Peter hard in ribs, sending him flying to side and out of her. You need to get out of my wife, I roar, my voice shaking room. Peter's stunned face registers situation quickly. A scrawny, average-sized guy. Her husband. Instinctively, Peter reverts to type. The bully, his lips curl into sneer, as he begins moving off bed, intending to deal with this little problem. I back up few steps, watching as Peter rounds far corner of bed. Movement must have looked like retreat, because Peter smirks, his confidence swelling. Behind Peter, Claire scrambles onto her knees, clutching covers to her chest, screaming, "Get the hell out of here! Don't hurt him," she shrieks, though I'm not sure which man she's talking to. My anger reaches its peak. Rock back on my trailing foot, then launch myself forward, driving brass knuckles with full force into Peter's solar plexus. Impact sends Peter crashing to floor, my weight driving air from his lungs. Peter's body convulses as he gasps for breath, his chest heaving in vain. I straddle Peter, who squirms beneath me, hands flailing weakly. As panic overtakes him, his lips move but no sound comes out, except for high-pitched wheeze. I'm unrelenting. Raising my right hand high, I bring steel knuckles crashing down into center of Peter's face. Sickening crunch of breaking bone echoes through room as blood spurts from his shattered nose and mouth. Man's attempts to breathe become gurgled, blood filling his throat, rendering him completely helpless. I stand, towering over Peter's broken, wheezing body, content with damage I've inflicted. Turn toward door, ignoring Claire's frantic screaming behind me. What the hell are you doing? Are you insane? Come back here and help him. I realize her words aren't pleading. They're accusing. She thinks I'm running away. Exactly as planned. I kick small piece of wood, holding master bedroom door ajar. Let it close. Hasp clicks into place. As I secure lock, turn back to face her. Claire's expression morphs from anger to sheer panic. She looks between me and locked door, fully naked and completely vulnerable. Realization that she's trapped with me settles over her like cold wave. Her tone changes in instant. Luke, oh Luke, she begins, voice trembling. I know this looks bad, but he forced me. He's bully. He threatened me. He threatened to hurt you too. He said he'd kill you if I didn't. I stare at her, my face unreadable mask. I didn't want to. I had no choice, Claire wails. Voice trembling with desperation. My face remains cold, devoid of emotion. As I step closer to bed, her words only fuel my contempt. Shut up, you lying piece of garbage! I spit. I know you've been screwing him for months. Turn attention back to Peter, who's still gurgling, gasping for air, his face tinged with blue. I don't want him dead, just incapacitated. Grabbing man's legs, I drag him closer to iron bedstead, position him on his side. So blood can drain, I reach into top dresser drawer, retrieving 5 pairs of handcuffs. Work methodically, securing Peter's ankles and wrists to bedstead with 4 of them, ensuring man is completely immobilized, then turn to Claire. She lies on her back, trembling. As she watches her husband approach, I yank her legs off bed, pull her arms behind her back, cuffing her wrists, stand her up with forceful jerk, march her into bathroom, shove her onto toilet. Please, Luke, she pleads. Voice cracking. Don't hurt me. I say nothing at first. Instead, rub brass knuckles on my right hand, making sure she sees them glint in light. Finally speak. Voice low and icy. I want whole story. How you met him, why you screwed him, and why you thought it was okay. Screw me over, I say. Words like slow-burning fire. And don't stop there. I want to know about other men too. All ones you've been messing around with. Over past 10 years. Don't even think about lying to me, because we've got entire afternoon for this. And I'll make sure every second of it counts. Claire's mind races. He knows some things, she thinks. Her panic rising. But how much? She weighs her options. Could she twist truth? Make her actions seem less damning? Could she dare lie to me outright? She decides to test waters. He's really aggressive, she begins. Voice shaky. And huge guy. At party he came on to me. Lured me upstairs. It was at Walter's house. I didn't know he was going to take advantage. But once he had me cornered, there was nobody around to help. My eyes narrow. As I lean in closer. What kind of party was it? I ask. Tone sharp and probing. Claire hesitates. He must have heard something from Amanda. But Amanda only saw New Year's party. It was New Year's party, she blurts, hoping I'd buy it. Liar, I snap. Voice like whip. If you'd been screwing him 20 times, or more by New Year's, it couldn't have started there. It was Halloween, wasn't it? Who told me, you ask? You'd be surprised how many people know. Claire's face crumples. It's truth. Don't you believe me? She cries. Maybe Peter told someone, one of his friends, but that doesn't matter. Amanda must have told you everything. I'll rip her eyes out for this. I smirk coldly. Oh, Amanda told me plenty, I say, but not what you think. And don't even bother with threats. You're in no position to make them. Claire's eyes dart around, her panic palpable. I know something about her. That could destroy her marriage, she spits. I'll use it, I chuckle. Low, humorless sound. You mean Ryan? That's cute. Guess what? We made him up for you. Claire blinks, confused. Yeah, I continue. Voice dripping with venom. We cooked up that little story. Just to get you talking. Amanda recorded whole thing, every word. It's already copied onto stack of DVDs. And guess what? I've got them ready to send out. To who you ask? Let's see. There's your daddy, your mom, and even that brother of yours. You can't stand... Claire cringes, her facade cracking further. By way, I add, my smirk widening. Amanda wasn't first to tell me what was going on. And no, she didn't spill every detail. But truth has funny way of finding its way to surface. And here we are. My voice drips with disdain as I speak. You know, Claire, Amanda might have believed your little New Year's lie, that it was first and last time you were with him. But you couldn't help yourself. Could you? You graciously dumped your entire sordid history onto that video. Oh, sweetie, let me jog your memory. Do you recall a little phone call you made to Loverboy last Saturday? Right there in our entryway? You told him how much you love his big old tool. That's right, baby. You tipped me off. You handed me everything I needed to know. About your whoring on silver platter. I lean closer, voice low and steady. You know what? I don't think I need any more information. I've heard all I can stomach. And you've proven once again that you wouldn't know truth if it bit you. So here's deal. You're going to be served with divorce papers in a couple of days. Only thing left for me to do is figure out how to deal with 2 of you. I pull out my phone. Dial number. Eyes never leaving hers. If there's anything else you want to say, you can say it to my lawyer. After moment, I chuckle into phone and say, Melody, would you mind coming in now to collect garbage? I hang up, then grab Claire by shoulders. march her back into bedroom. Her eyes widen as I force her to look at Peter, still naked, tied to bed, gasping and covered in blood. Sight makes her gag, but I'm unmoved. You see that? I say coldly. That's your daddy. Your partner in crime? Take good look. I shove her onto bed. Before reaching over to turn off video camera, I unlock bedroom door. Open it. Melody had been waiting in her car, anticipating call. She steps into room within seconds. All right, Melody, I say, gesturing to Peter. Here he is. Your portion of him. Face isn't much to look at anymore, I'll admit. And over there, sitting on bed, we have Claire, soon to be my ex-wife. Anything you'd like to say to her? Melody doesn't hesitate. She strides across room, leans down, slaps Claire hard across left cheek. Sound echoing through room, Claire's face turns crimson. Mark matching one already forming on her other cheek. You idiot, Melody hisses. Do you even realize how stupid you are? Do you know how many times I would have traded places with you? All you had to do was appreciate what you had. A man who, by all accounts, is practically flawless. And instead, you threw it all away. For this, she gestures toward Peter's broken body. Garbage. I smirk but keep quiet. As Melody turns attention to me. So what's planned for lover boy here? She asks. I shrug. Voice calm but icy. I'm thinking we throw him outdoor. Without his clothes. Maybe toss him out window too. Make it clear what happens when he messes with someone else's wife. Melody raises eyebrow. Well, I appreciate you leaving his tool intact. Claire loves that big old tool of his so much. Maybe we should cut it off and gift it to her. Oh, and those balls of his. I could store them in vaults somewhere. Think of it as public service. For women in this town, I chuckle darkly. As Melody continues, in all seriousness, I'm putting my prenuptial agreement to test. Peter's not getting sent. If he cooperates and does what I say, maybe I'll throw him crumb or two. But if he so much as looks at me wrong, he'll end up in gutter, where he belongs. She turns back to Claire. As for you, you've got your own mess to deal with. Got any suggestions for how you'll dig yourself out of this? I interject, tone sarcastic. Her dad's only man in world. She truly cares about, she sees him as her alpha dog. Isn't that right, Claire? Claire's face crumples, but my eyes remain cold, unflinching. I can't help but wonder if there wasn't more to Claire's story when she was growing up, something in her tone, way she clung to idea of her father as her alpha dog made me think there's darker thread in her past. But if this divorce turns into mess, her father will disinherit her, just as he did her sister. He can't tolerate dishonor, staining his family name, and by doing so, he'll obliterate her inheritance, a substantial legacy that would have secured her future. Even after divorce, she won't go far. With half of what I've earned, I'll still have comfortable life. And of course, those intriguing DVDs as reminder, maybe just maybe, thought of those tapes, will help her rein in her spiteful tendencies and take her car to go cry somewhere else. Alone. Don't bother using your ATM or credit cards, Claire. I told bank they're not going to help you now. You've probably got few bucks in your purse. Oh, and here's quarter for your two-bit act. Life moved on. I remained friends with Melody, but we kept our distance. Every so often we'd call each other during low moments. Neither of us was eager to jump into another relationship. We'd both been burned badly, and wounds were still fresh. One thing that lingered with me, though, was memory of how I treated Claire. It wasn't like me to strike woman. Not once, let alone twice. It haunted me, and I likened it to cruel decisions. Men make in war. Good men under right circumstances can do terrible things. I swore to myself I'd never be in that position again. Peter, on the other hand, I felt no remorse for ruining him. Melody's insurance paid for basic facial repairs, but not for extensive reconstructive surgery he desperately needed after she released him from her custody. With bit more than prenuptial agreement required, Peter's life fell apart. He struggled to attract women, and his depression spiraled. Within few months, he vanished from public view. Claire, for her part, accepted reasonable settlement. Left with few options, she begged her estranged sister for help and moved in with her. These days, she spends her time reflecting on her mistakes, trying to piece together how she miscalculated so badly. She can't watch nature documentaries without getting physically ill. At scenes of predators and prey, words like alpha dog or pecking order make her cringe. Some nights she's haunted by nightmares of Peter and me, tangled in chaos she created. And sometimes, when she's feeling especially lonely, she misses me. I, however, don't miss her not one bit.